Morena te whānau. We're not breaking any course records. I'm gonna lean into something that I do know a lot about, and that's life, baby. If I'm not gonna like warm up my swing or anything, which I don't even really like doing too much anyways before a round, just like getting a feel for it with a quick little chip. If this is all you do before your round, do this. Make sure you get a good like roll of the green, good feel for the green. And my mate EJ, he showed me this. What you wanna do is you wanna find like a flat surface on the green, right? Listen the fuck up. Find a flat surface on the green. So what you wanna do is you just wanna do your normal putter setup, feet shoulder width apart. And then what I like to do is just a standard like toe to toe, shoulder width apart putt. And then I'll just count up the steps, how many steps the ball rolled to. So 1, 2, so we'll say 8. So now I know 8 steps in, all I've got to give it is that toe to toe putt. So now that I know if it's a bit shorter, this putt right here, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I measured it out on the green beforehand, it's probably like half of that. So that wouldn't be that, because that goes 8 steps. We're only going about 4, so I'll say half, which for me, like, I usually tell myself that's big toe to big toe as opposed to pinky toe to pinky toe. So let's see how that goes. Good weight, not in. That's all you need to know. All right, shout out Formosa. Big thank you to Jeff from Formosa. He's the director of golf out here. Amazing dude. Always tries to like accommodate filming on like the social media element of golf. They know how important it is, so hit up Jeff, man. Get your ass out to Formosa. Yeah, we're gonna play 9 holes, do 1 piece of advice per hole. Yeah, wanting to turn this into an ongoing series. I just come out here to have fun with my content. I want to give you the opportunity to do so as well. All right, we've got a par 4 here. How far is it? Fuck knows. Where am I aiming? Couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Oh, on the fairway. I'm playing golf at 6 a.m. on a fucking Friday. Ain't many better starts, bros. All right, first piece of advice. What's a man secret you learned way too late in life? For the longest time, I thought being a man meant keeping everything to myself, never asking for help, never showing when I was struggling. I figured everyone else had it all together, so I had to as well. Turns out, most guys are just winging it and hoping no one notices. Another thing, I used to think confidence came from being the loudest or the toughest in the room. But honestly, the most confident guys I've met are the ones who don't feel the need to prove anything to anyone. That was a game changer to me. What's something you learned way too late? It could be a mindset shift, a life skill, or even just a simple habit that made life easier. A limit that you yourself have, and it could be for anything. Like, my partner and I, we've got a boundary that I've, like a boundary of mine that I've communicated to her is, like we're a very like roasty relationship, like we roast each other a lot. But one boundary I've communicated to her is I don't like being roasted in front of other people who like I don't have that same relationship with. So say for example, if we're out for dinner with like maybe a couple friends who we're not super close with but we're getting to know, I wouldn't like if she like roasted me in front of them. And obviously if I have that boundary, that's a boundary that I too like upkeep myself. So I think learning what your boundaries are is like low-key a life hack. Because the more you like understand what your boundaries are, the more you can communicate them. Too many of you cunts get mad for people overstepping your boundaries that you've never communicated. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Yes, like, I wish people just knew. People are fucking idiots. People are fucking idiots. So you got to treat them as such. If you feel something, you know something about yourself, you got to tell them. Otherwise, how the fuck are they supposed to know? We're 95 out, and my boundary is that bunker right there. So I'm going to do everything I can to avoid the cunt. And we're right on the green. People are going to say, like, learn to communicate your boundaries, like, don't worry about any of that shit. Learn what the fuck your boundaries are first. And the thing is you probably know. You know, if someone says something that makes you sad, literally a boundary could be, if your friends make fun of your height, you can say to them, yo, I don't like when you guys talk about my height. Or if people make fun of your haircut, you could say, yo, we can talk about anything else, you can make fun of anything. I don't like when you talk about my haircut. I don't know why. I don't know why I get weird, why I get sad, why it upsets me. That may be unreasonable to you, but it's not unreasonable to me. So anything else is fair game. It's just like that. And then it gives you the opportunity to understand the type of person you're around. Because if there's somebody that actually really cares about you and they hear that, they're like, oh, fuck, my bad, okay, all right, I got you, all good. And if they're a fuckwit, they'll be like, no, fuck your haircut. No, fuck you. That's all you need to say. We're just in the rough by the hole. Like, think for yourself. If I come at you and I'm like, you did this, you did that, I'm not thinking about like what you might be feeling. I'm thinking, oh, this fucking motherfucker thinks I did that. Fuck you. But if you just come at me and you're like, this made me feel this way, well, there's nothing I can debate. Like, it's your feelings. There's nothing that I can like hit back. And yeah, I might take it personally, but at the very least, like, I'm hearing, oh shit, okay, I've made you feel this way. My bad. Simple as that. Shout out to Taco for the tripping tip. Narrow stance, I'm leaning forward and I'm just gonna go soft. I'm gonna try land it in the fringe. Sit, bro. Dang. Okay, that's the other thing with Formosa. The greens here are quick. This was and still is a championship course. So the greens here, they're great. For bogey. There we go. We're at hole 2. What's a guy secret that's completely harmless but weirdly universal? We all piss sitting down. Like, you're telling me you don't have mornings where you just wake up and you cannot be fucked standing up. I never actually understood that like whole idea of like sitting downs for pussies. It literally makes no sense. Like, oh, your fucking dick is so big, can't fit in the toilet. Fuck up, Mandingo. I bet you even Mandingo, the porn star, Johnny Sins, can sit and piss on the toilet. I don't know why we all started lying about not sitting and pissing on the toilet. Like, we all do it. But I do it every day. It's 168 out, but which for me, yardage wise, would usually be a 7-iron, but I'm going 4-iron. Just cause like, it's still early morning, haven't stretched. You know, I'm only 1 hole in. And this is a great analogy for pissing on the toilet. Sometimes all you've got is, you know, what you've woken up with. We don't always have the energy to like, always be on our toes, you know, to face the day. You know, maybe we're just not ready for it. So taking a seat and taking your time and relaxing whilst you like get to that is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with pissing on the toilet. Yeah, you're gonna stand, but you don't have to get there straight away. Just when you're ready. Just like me. If I had a 7-iron right now, this is going straight in that water. Just exactly when I sit, it goes straight in the water. But I'm working with what I've got. I'm not trying to force myself to do more than I'm able to. I've been slicing it for days so far, so I'm just going to aim left and a smooth swing. I have no idea where that went. And maybe this is an old school thing, like maybe guys don't care anymore about stuff like that, but like, yo, back in the day they had some weird things. Make points about whether you're a man or not. They had some weird shit, eh? You know, you're not gonna rock up to the course and hit your exact yardages. So I usually like club up a lot. Just get my irons like rolling early. So even like before, when I hit my second shot, I was 216 away, which usually would be a 5-wood, right? But I know I'm gonna be using my 4-iron a lot more today, so. Sup, boy? Yo, good to see you, G. Oh, did you? Ready when you are, my brother? Yo, gonna have to get a bit creative with this. Look at that. Sit. Holy shit. What makes this hole hard is there's like no room in this bottom bit. Holy shit. Taco, I appreciate you, bro. Even though you'd respond weird if I said that to you, to your face, I'm gonna say it on the video. Men who make 85 to 100K a year, what do you do and how did you get there? Like, I've been making money from stand-up for the last 10 years, you'd say, but I've been making money from social media for the last 15 years. I can't see shit. That's the only thing about this course early in the morning. The sun, like, just rises beautifully, whatever the fuck that direction is. and it makes the course look so sick, can't see shit. But Formosa would be one of the hardest courses out here in Auckland for sure. Off the tips, easily. It's just long as hell. Yeah, so I started social media, my first social media related business in 2009 when I was 14. Just started a clothing brand. And then I made a fashion blog when I was 16. Taught myself how to code. Just standard like HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So yeah, we're about 300 out. And yeah, just gonna try and get it up to sort of 150 range. There we go. I was 18 and we were doing work for like Adidas, Huffer, like some really cool companies. Yeah, I did like a lot of shit. So that was when I was 18. So if you think about like where I'm kind of at now, you know, I'm 30. I've been in social media for, like I said, over 15 years. So it takes ages. I know you've heard it a million times, but then because of that 15 years of experience, like I know everything there is to know about social media, and even though it's constantly changing, I know how to find out how it's changed. I know who knows about how it's changed. I know if somebody does know what they're talking about, if they don't. So I just know so much about it now, and it's just like second nature to me. If you look at my content, it's low effort by design. If you're constantly producing really like high quality, high produced content, then people are always going to expect that from you, which is fine. But then that's just something that you have to be able to maintain. And the number one thing in social media, more than anything, over quality, is consistency. And so for me, I've always valued consistency over quality. Are my videos like the best like skits that, you know, have been so well thought out and like filmed and written out? Like, no, not in the slightest. It's half the time it's me fucking sitting on my couch or sitting in my car talking bullshit. But that allows me to be consistent, and it allows me to be consistent whilst maintaining my life. Like, social media doesn't have to be my life because I've specifically built it to be able to work around my life, not be it. And that's just a personal thing. That's because I use social media for like what it can do for me. Ah, shit. So you'll even see with my golf videos, if you go in the comments of the early videos, you know, a lot of people, and I could tell they're like Taco's fans, because Taco produces such high quality content. You know, he's got shot tracers and like great shots, and he knows how to film golf. Yo, he's been doing that for like, what, 3 years at this point? I started 3 weeks ago. And people are like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Yo, fuck up. I don't need to do anything. I'm figuring out like what my own version of golf content is. And that's what even testing this format is. If I try to do what Taco and Quan and Sam do, it would make no sense, really. I am not that good of a golfer. Never will be. Don't hope to be. And yeah, you could say like, but you want to like upskill and you want to go to the next level, sure. But when I'm coming into a new space, I've also got to lean on like what my strengths are. Because if I try to do what everyone else is doing, it's a losing game. Because I've not only never done it, but also I'm trying to beat people, quote unquote beat people, or meet people that have been doing it for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Some 10. And you're just playing a losing game. You'll set yourself up for expectations that you're never going to meet, and you'll just disappoint yourself based on expectations that you were never going to hit. Ain't no way to live life. Fuck that shit. So yes, I absolutely am going to evolve my golf content. And this is a process of learning. Like, for now, whilst I am learning, like, all I have is what I know. So I've got to lean on that early. And then over time, because I take my time with things, then I'll be able to incorporate both sides. The world that I'm coming from and the world that I'm going into. Fourth shot. I'm actually not like super mad at that. I'm also just gonna move this slightly because that lie was fucked. Beautiful morning here in Tamaki. If you want to make good money, and if you want to like do what you want in life, you've got to set yourself up to be able to do that. Because if you chase like what everyone else is doing, well, you're not going to do what you want to do. You're going to do what everyone else is doing. Holy, zooming. Oh, that's bad. Still rolling. 7, my thing is build an audience around like as authentic of content that you can do, because there's always ways to up, to up your production, to up the scale of things. This is probably a bad example because he's like literally the most successful content creator in the world. But Mr. Beast, right? He does the biggest shit. What's bigger than the biggest shit? Having to do more and more and more and more. And my way of doing things is always slower, and my growth on social media has always been like relatively slow in comparison to my friends. Creating content that your audience is like absolutely frothing and you're miserable making it the whole time. Fuck that shit. And I know people in that position. And trust me, it's hell. I mean, someone's gonna comment like, oh, there's worse things. I work as a welder. I wasn't saying that it's harder than that shit. That shit is hard. But I'm just saying, of this job that I'm speaking from my personal experience, that is like the hardest version of that. I never said content creation is harder than welding. Never said that. And whether this piece of content goes well or not, whether this video goes well or not, I've enjoyed doing it. I'll play around with the format, and if it is popular, then fuck, I've cracked it. Something that I like doing, that's easy to do. I just rocked up to a golf course this morning and just played. And people like it. That's the sweet spot. Par 4, 337 meters. Still just swinging smoothly. We're not trying to smack anything yet. I'm a single mum of a 21-year-old son, at a complete loss on how to help my son get started in life. We had a major life event in 2019 that began his descent into depression and isolation, and every year it seems to only get worse. In 2022 we moved to a different state, and in the beginning there was hope. He was getting out a bit, was in a band, but since that ended there's just been nothing. We've tried several therapists, but he doesn't click with anyone, won't take medication, also has a eating disorder, and I feel like I've tried everything to help him, but I don't seem to be someone he'll listen to. Beginning of June, I finally took all electronics away and insisted that he either start working or go to ED treatment or move out. It's exhausting and heartbreaking. Watching someone you love so much just sit in a box staring at a screen for 16 hours a day. I don't know how to handle the situation. His father's not in the picture, but I did reach out to him for help. He just wanted to yell at me. And all he could talk about was my son being gay because girls should motivate him. He's not gay. I think just probably on the spectrum and highly sensitive and severely depressed. I can only speak from my version of my experience. But if you hear that, and that is something that you feel like you're going through, where you just like kind of can't get like started, just can't like find yourself to find a will to get into things. I know for me personally, and golf is honestly a big part of this, just tapping into like, it sounds so simple and fucking dumb. I feel stupid saying this. But just tapping into like what makes you happy. Even if it's something so small. Like for example, I had started going to therapy. I was probably like in my early 20s. I want to say like 23, 24. And I'd started going to therapy. He'd asked me if I had a problem with like being present, even in happy moments. And then I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah. Fuck, I do. I'm always just like thinking about random shit. Not good or bad stuff, just like, fuck, my mind is always elsewhere. One thing he told me was to start practicing like presence of mind. And I know this sounds very preachy, and he just told me every day, try and find like something that helps like ground you and like where you are and be like present in the moment. And I didn't really know what he fucking meant. And I was like, bro, like you're gonna have to tell me like what that even means, because I don't know what the fuck that means. You've just said gibberish to me, basically. Anyways, I'm 156 out, I got an 8 on. This is closer to like my yardage on this, so I'm like, this is a bit of a heat check, like, am I cooking yet or not? Bit fat, but I think we're there, whānau. No, we're not, we're short. Not cooking just yet. Well, next time you find yourself thinking about anything other than the moment, I want you to just go touch like a plant or something in the general area that you're in. And I remember I was walking down to my office. I used to have this office in the city, right? I went to uni in the city in Auckland. And then when I started my production company, we had this mean ass office. And basically every morning I'd park my car and I'd walk past this area that when I first came to Auckland, I thought was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I came from Wellington. And there's this area called Britomart, and Aucklanders will crack up because they're like, Britomart, like, what does that mean? And I honestly couldn't tell you, like, coming from Wellington, it looked cool. And it was just like, the light, there was, they, you know, put all these lights and stuff around, like, they've done a really good job, like, developing it. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever, like, when I first came. So, in uni, I would always walk through there and take photos. I was learning how to do photography, so I'd take photos in there. Anyways, I remember I had this one day where I was like, I really felt like I was struggling with work. I was really stressed all the time. And I kind of felt like I was on the verge of like a, you know, kind of like a bout of depression, falling, or at least falling into like a really deep rut. And I caught myself in that moment being like, okay, fuck, okay, I feel really bad right now. All right, I'll try to touch this plant. And then I was just like cracking up. I was like, this is so fucking dumb. I was like, just touching the plant. And I was like, oh shit, okay, like, yeah. Plant's all good, which I've said before. No. I remember just going to the plant and then looking up and then looking at Britomart and then thinking to myself like, fuck, like, I have an office in Britomart. I have an office in the place that I used to come and like take photos of religiously when I was a kid, or when, you know, when I first moved up here, and I just found so exciting. And I've been walking through this place every single day, paying no attention to that, because I've been too busy thinking about like other shit. And I just had this like mean moment, you know, all just kind of flooded to me, this like moment of gratitude. Oh, that's gonna be close. Oh, nah, it's not. Greens are so fast today. Yeah, and because I like was able to sort of just be present in the moment, I just started having all these real good feelings of like thoughts flooding of like, damn, this is where I'm at, and like, okay. And I just had this realization that fuck, it's like, you know, am I in a stressful situation? Like, yeah. But I at least got to acknowledge like, but look where I've come from. Damn, I did not read, holy shit. Oh, 6. You know, I guess my interpretation of what like my therapist had told me was, you can't figure out your problems here if your mind is elsewhere. You can't figure out how to get yourself out of your current situation if you're constantly thinking about either the situation that you're in or the situation you want to be in. And I had that realization that day. And it was fucking unreal. I feel for my bro in that situation. That's really sad. But I'm just saying in my version of things, where I found myself in similar situations, at least like something that has really helped me as I've grown older has been that centering myself in the present. It's like, okay, how can I then, now that I'm present and I'm thinking about right now, how can I help myself right now in this very moment? And then, because I'm like, I think this is inherently like quite a male thing. You know, I think when we're given like really clear, like practical steps, maybe our brains work like that. At least I could say that based off of like me and a lot of the dudes that I know, especially my younger brothers. And that's what like breath work and shit is, and meditation is supposed to be, like versions of that. It's supposed to be essentially all about like centering yourself and being present. And the more you look into it, the more you'll see actually how beneficial it is. And I'm always like real cautious of that. To be completely honest, like spirituality can be a hard thing to embrace if it wasn't introduced to you in like the best of ways. Things that sound close to it, you kind of are like, oh fuck, like, all right, like what are you trying to sell me here? But honestly, if you really just strike it down to principle, just stripping all things away in your mind and just being present, that's not at all the solution. But what it just allows you is it allows you to just kind of, it's like cleaning a room. You've lost something, right, in your room. Is the best thing to do to figure out like where it is, to start just like throwing all your shit everywhere and hope that it just like pops up? No. The best thing to do is to start cleaning your room. Start clearing things out, start emptying it all out a little bit, and then, you know, it's usually in that process that you find it. Half the time you're looking for it, you don't even really have to look long enough to fucking finish cleaning your room. This is a short part 4. I think it's like 270 usually, 280. Feeling like loose-ish. So we're just gonna go for it. Just see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen? Yeah, I'm just saying that word for me. I'm not saying it's like a solution that is gonna solve all life's problems. Like, I feel like a good way to start to like get to that is by doing that. What are cheat codes in life you wish you knew earlier? It's not what you know, it's who you know. Like, that advice could not be any more true. I think a lot of people hear that advice and they're like, it's bullshit. And then they'll wonder why like the useless cunt in their office like gets a promotion, gets all the freedom, can get leave like without asking, and then yours gets denied for the third time. It's not because that cunt is any good at their job, but it's because, you know, they've put their effort into building a relationship with the person that makes that decision. Now, am I saying that's a good thing in that situation? No, inherently no. 5 out, got a 50, 56. Just gonna try and chip it up there. Sit, bro. Dang, a little bit long. That's all right. Ultimately, people are human, and humans are stupid. And whether starting out from the bottom or you're the top dog, we want to be surrounded by people we like. Is that inherently unfair? Like, yeah, it is. But it's also just how life works, unfortunately, or fortunately. My mum is like a real tough woman, but she's herself constantly, and she's unapologetically so. And people are always like really drawn to that. In and out of jobs all the time. Sorry, mum. Oh. I'd always kind of ask her, like, you know, what's your plan? Or, you know, what's the next job you're going to do? And she would literally be like, I don't know. And then she'd go catch up with her mate, and then fucking she'd come away and she's got a job. That's a bad 5. I can't putt for shit today. I'm actually getting a new putter, by the way. This is, speaking of my mum, this is my mum's putter. But I'm getting a new putter, which you guys will see that video in a week or 2. This guy's awkward. She'd be like, I'm just going for lunch or going for coffee. And then she'd literally come back with a job. I'm not even shitting you. Like, every time as well. She's the most tin-ass person I've ever met. Grew up in Waitangi, come from Fiji. You know, she didn't like have all these connections like laid out for her. So these were all just things that she had built over the years. And she would always like put time aside with people. Like, one of the most annoying things when I was a kid was, we always had people at our house, always. Yo, like, our house was as brown as they come. There was always, I talked about this, and if you went to my latest tour, like I talk about it, there was just always randoms at our house. Staying for a couple nights, fucking living for a couple years, constantly. That's kind of what my mum's like. So because of that, like, my mum just always like had these really good connections with people, and I got to see that like growing up firsthand. But because of that, like, whenever mum needed something, because she was always there when people needed her only thing that she ever like openly expressed that she ever needed at times was a job when she needed one, and she always walked away with one because she gave people that exact same energy. So yeah, there's like negative ways to look at that whole thing of it's not what you know, it's who you know. But if you look at my mum's situation, woman that's moved from Fiji, she fucking doesn't know anyone here, moved here with nothing, had nothing growing up. That's not someone that comes from like a position of privilege. Like, this is a brown woman coming to New Zealand in the 70s. This is like the person that preached this the most in my life, who on paper like really has everything going against her, and fuck, she never let that hold her back. You know, I was really privileged and lucky that I got to like see that through my mum. There's every reason for her to not be able to do this, but she just like really put in that time and effort constantly. And so I got to see the value of like connecting with people and just like being there for people. And because of that, like, whenever she did fall on like difficult times, and she had some, there was always someone there to like pick her up. And that when I think of the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know, it's putting in efforts like that, and it's knowing things like that. And I've been so lucky that because of that, I've been able to set my life up in the same way. Holy slice. On the fairway. Fuck, that was ugly. And I've had my own versions of it, honestly. I was like really broke and really down at the end of 2021. I poured a lot of my money into Westpark to try like get it upstarted. I had a bunch of business mentors at the time, all of who were like awesome for me. But I had one business mentor who, I won't say his name because he's quite like a private dude, but he ran an agency. I had initially hit him up to like go for coffees and that because I really like respected and like loved his business. Like I genuinely loved his business, kept up with everything that they did, knew his whole story and that. So I was actually like a big fan of him. And I reached out to him just in that capacity. I was like, bro, I'm a big fan of you. I love what you've done. I would love to like learn from you. And so we started just going for like these regular beers and coffees, and fuck, we'd just catch up and just talk about life. Like we'd definitely talk about business, and I'd ask him business advice, but we'd just like talk about life. Like fuck, there was a couple of times we just went to go like walk his dog, and we'd just talk bullshit like about the day. And what started from like, I reached out in like a form of admiration and like really wanting to learn from him, and you know, more like a business sort of mentor-mentee sort of relationship. We got to know each other on such a good level that eventually he just like kind of started like more involving me in his work as opposed to just like talking to me about it, because we actually became friends and he started to see what I was doing. You know, he learned more and more about my skill set, so he like started to really like trust and appreciate like my skills and my vision for what I wanted like in my life. And then because we built that personal relationship, he gave me this opportunity that like straight up saved my ass. And it not only saved my ass like professionally in a sense that give a kick to my career, but then it also like paid me at a time where I really, really fucking needed the money. And I never told him that, and actually to this day I've never told him that. This is probably like the first time I've ever publicly like painted the whole picture in that way. I didn't plan for it. It was complete chance and complete just right place, right time. But because I put that effort in to build that relationship, just purely because like I enjoyed hanging with the cunt, like then, you know, that opportunity popped up, and then because I was like always like sort of catching up with him, there with him, it was just that right place, right time. Hey, I know a person that's perfect for this, and it changed my life. And for him, it was just fucking another day at the office, literally. I'm 110 out, I got a 50 degree. All right, should be close-ish. If all you are is cool, and you feel like you don't offer anything else other than that, there's value in that. People will take someone that they enjoy being around over someone that they know can do what they need to do. Because ultimately, when you get to a position where you can make decisions, fuck, you're probably surrounded by people that can do what you need them to do. But you're not constantly surrounded by people that you enjoy being around. So I tell people, like, fuck, if your only skill is that people like being around you, fuck, that's a skill that could take you so many crazy places in life. And I've learned that firsthand. People always get shocked when I end up with the most like random people. And it's not because I'm like fucking anything special. I just know, thankful to my mum, how to just be like easy to be around. Not even cool. Just like, oh yeah, he'll do. And what a life, man. I'm playing golf on a fucking Friday morning. Oh, too fast. Bro, my putting. Thank you. So hole 7's a tough one. It's all uphill. It's 154 uphill, but I'm gonna play at 170. Oh my days. All right, that is deep right somewhere. We'll be able to find it. What's the dumbest reason you lost all respect for someone? I don't know if it got up here or not. I also can't be fucked looking for it. So we will just move on. That's a fuck nose hole. Fuck nose to the question. Fuck knows where my ball went. What we do know, keep moving forward. And I don't know if this is a controversial topic or not, but we talk about all that over here. It is very common for men to say that if you open up against a woman, she will use it against you. What exactly are you telling? Guys say if you open up to a woman, tell her about insecurities, weaknesses, fears, she'll use them against you. But this has never happened to me. I'm a guy. So I'm wondering what kinds of things you all are saying and what way are they being used against you? But because I've had that instance where people have used my vulnerability against me, they've used things that I've said to them and they've brought it up like later on, maybe either in front of people or like to use against me in an argument or like to make fun of me. Like I've had all those situations. Fuck, it says 300 meters. And I'm slicing it for fucking days today. You'd think it's fucking Christmas how many slices I'm handing out today. So we're just gonna like really embrace it. We're gonna embrace the slice today. Slice, I want you. I need you right now. And you came, bro. Hey, yo! That'll be right in the middle of the fairway, quite far up. One big thing that I learned, because I do hear this a lot. Why should I be vulnerable? I've had instances where people use that against me. Or I've had instances where people throw it back in my face. You probably did. And it fucking sucks. And people that do that fucking suck. Fuck people that do that. What I had to realize was that I'm not being vulnerable for other people. I'm being vulnerable for myself. I'm expressing myself authentically because it sets people's expectations of me realistically. If I say I feel this, I am this right now, if I'm vulnerable in that way, that allows me any sort of grace in the future from the people around me, because I can at least say like, hey, I did let you know where I was at. If I tell people what I struggle with, it lets them know that where I'm at. And if a situation pops up and they expect something of me, but I've been vulnerable and said that I've struggled, I've said that for myself, to allow capacity for myself. I think too many people, fair enough, they're vulnerable in hopes that it's received a certain way, and then if it's received the right way, then I guess that's like validation for them in order to be vulnerable like more often. But like, that's not how it works. What if you never ever get the validation that you're looking for from the vulnerability that you're giving, and that's like kind of your pretense to be vulnerable? Fuck, you'll never be vulnerable again. If you think about it, it's probably impossible to give. So you got to understand that like your vulnerability isn't for other people, it's for yourself. Goes back to that boundaries thing. If you're vulnerable about your boundaries, you're letting people know like, hey, I feel uncomfortable about this. And if all that's doing is setting their expectations for you to react a certain way, if that boundary's been overstepped, then sweet, you've done that for yourself. I had a situation where I told one of my best friends what like my dream is. And it was just me and him. And in the moment, he was like, oh, mean. And it was the first time I'd ever said it. I was like, yeah, bro, this is like actually my dream. I really want to do this. And he was all good with it in the moment. And then when we got around like our mates later, one of our other mates, this is, maybe like a day or two later, one of our other mates, who I didn't tell, gave me shit. He was like, oh yeah, Joe, just like how you want to be a so-and-so, eh? And I like looked at my bro who I told, and I was like, bro, what the fuck? I was vulnerable. I told you something that I'm like embarrassed to say that I want to be. Like, why the fuck would you do that? But like, as I got older, I kind of realized like, me being vulnerable like that was never for him to validate and tell me like it's good, do that. Me being vulnerable was to show myself like, hey, I'm proud and open about be this one day, and I'm brave enough to like say it out loud. Fuck, maybe one day I'll actually be able to do it. Like, that's what that was about. Yes, people, like, vulnerability is a gift. Yes, people have to earn your vulnerability, but at the end of the day, they don't have to receive it like the way that you expect them to. All right, I'm just gonna drop one on the fairway, fuck it. Also, my eyesight is just like, it's kind of cooking me at the moment. I'm gonna say I felt like it was here. 50 degree, but into the wind. It's 110. Full 50 for me is 120. So I'm just gonna full it. Get up there. Short. I mean, here's the analogy. It would be like at Christmas, you give a gift to one person and they don't like it, and then you go, I'm never buying Christmas presents for anyone ever again. It's actually stupid as fuck when you think about it. It just wasn't a gift for that person. It just wasn't the right gift for that person. It wasn't the right time for that person. It's whatever, but it has nothing to do with your ability to give gifts. As far as you're concerned, you gave the gift the right way. It just wasn't received the right way. But that doesn't mean that you should stop giving gifts. So, think about that when it comes to your vulnerability. It's more for you than it is for the person receiving. So don't let one bad experience with it be the decider on whether it's something that you should or shouldn't do. Because as you've heard throughout today, if you're not vulnerable, if you're not honest with yourself and you're not honest with those around you, like, you're really like setting yourself up for a tough life. There we go. For a playing by myself par. Oh my God, duffed it. All good. To duff it, I got the advice from fine-tuned components. I tend to like drop kick my putts every now and then because it's a smaller putter. I'm so used to like standing too close to it. And then if you're having problems with like duffing your putts, hitting the ground before you actually make contact with the ball, that's usually why, standing too close. Why do women hate when we play video games so much? This is actually a tougher convo. Like, I think it's made to be quite a trivial convo. For starters, I'm not a big PlayStation player. Never really have been. It's a dog leg left. I'm gonna play the slice again. You know, I'll say it from my personal perspective, because I have had that very argument with my partner. This is the thing, is it kind of plays into like what we've spoken about, where I reckon a lot of it falls short, right? If you've never played PlayStation, you probably don't know like the feeling that it gives you, like what it sort of taps into you, like mentally. It's a creative like exercise. But if you've never played PlayStation, like a lot of partners have, it might be different if they were to come home and you're reading a book. Creative endeavors that like generally people understand, like even if they haven't done them, like, and it's a form of expression that universally we all can kind of like understand. PlayStation and video games, people don't know that. I know for like a lot of my mates, to them honestly it sounds silly, but PlayStation is like their outlet. It's their creative outlet. It's the one time they're able to like catch up with their friends. It's their creative outlet. It's their social life. It's their, sometimes it's their therapist. Like, you know, it plays such a integral part in a man's life in that way. Fellas, like, if you haven't explained that to your partner, like, how are they to know? Because all they see is what it looks like. You're fucking sitting at home on your ass, doing fuck all. And I think that's like a big part of the issue. And again, like, how are you supposed to know if you've never done it? Like, I've been in this situation before. She knows that I do not play like a lot of PlayStation. But we've got this kind of thing in our house where she knows I've had a stressful day if I'm playing PlayStation, because I only play PlayStation when I'm stressed. Because it's just my like half an hour. I usually only play like half an hour at a time. So that's also another thing to consider. Like, come on, cuz. Yes, it can be those things, but if you're playing it for 4 or 5 hours at a time, like, come on, cunt, like, wake the fuck up. But if it is just your like little escape, like the way I use it, my partner T knows that if she sees me playing PlayStation, that typically means I've had quite a stressful day. And that's just my like half an hour. And I really do usually only play it for half an hour because I've got ADHD and I just get bored of it so quick. So she, like, even if she does come home and she sees like dishes aren't done, you know, whatever, I have communicated to her in the past, like what that is to me. This is essentially like just my lunch break, or like my break from, because it's another thing that makes it difficult too, is I work from home, and that's a whole nother dynamic that if you haven't done that, that's also difficult to understand. So it's on me to communicate like my life, what these different things mean to me, because then if I just get mad at somebody for misunderstanding me, but I've never explained it, then you're just as much in the wrong. I'm like 220 out, I think. I'm going 5 wood. We're gonna cook this motherfucker. Yep. I think the video game convo is one of the many convos that outlines like a clear misunderstanding on both sides. You gotta understand what it looks like, and then you gotta explain from your end like what it is. To be honest, like, some of you cunts are playing too much PlayStation. I'll also say that. Like, some of you cunts are on that shit way too much. Doing too much of something is bad. Playing too much golf, bad. Like, go home, cunt. Put the video game conversation aside. So it's also being able to look at yourself honestly and being able to say like, okay, am I really allowing this to take up too much time? Am I really allowing this to get in the way of the things that I need to do? Having a real honest look at yourself. And if you can honestly say you are, then communicating the other side of things that I've said. It's just that one little bit in the day where like you de-stress, and you probably do it for like half an hour, 40 minutes. And then everything else gets done. But what allows all those things to get done is that just little time off. We all get lunch breaks, we all take fucking time off. And as long as you've like explained to the people in your life like what those different needs for you are, it's the same thing again. Like, it's a version of boundaries, it's a version of vulnerability. It's that big C word, mate. It's communication. Sit. There we go. There we go. And that has been whatever the fuck this series is called. Still figuring out like what my kind of content on this channel will be. We can kind of just build off that. So let me know below if you like this, if there's anything else that you'd like to see. Otherwise, appreciate you coming along. I've been Joey D. This has been Formosa. Big thank you to Formosa for having me, and I'll see you guys next week.